Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to the 15th race of the third season of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. It is our second road course stop of the season as we are here at the Pensacola road course. This track is over 5 miles in length, about 5.3 miles to be exact, and a little bit different of a rules kind of situation than we had in the past 2 seasons, but we'll get to that in just a moment. We're coming off the heels of last week's race, which was the Coke 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Of course, Levi McIntire picking up his second career win, first of the season, and amazingly enough, the first win so far this year for Blue Oval Automotive. Levi McIntire has now got himself solidly inside the top 10 in the points as well, so it's looking like he may make the playoffs in back-to-back seasons. But one thing that's definitely tightened up that kind of seemed to be a battle that went away for a few weeks is the battle for the overall points lead. 2 drivers are currently now coming into Pensacola, battling it out for that top spot, and neither one of them have a win yet this season. After the Charlotte race last week, William Brock is now the new points leader over Benny Watson by 4 points. So all of a sudden, a new face, a new name has kind of popped up there into the top of the leaderboard in William Brock, and we'll see. I mean, both William Brock and Benny Watson are pretty good when they come to road courses. Watson's going to roll off from 6th. I'm not sure where William Brock is in the field. We'll see, because one thing about this particular track is it comes down to pit strategy. Now, the difference between the rules of the past 2 seasons and this season when we come here to this racetrack is the past 2 seasons we've had cautions on. And so it's really come down to which caution these drivers decide to pit under, whether they want to give up the track position or whatnot. That's really been the strategy in the race. But here today, we have no cautions. We're running this like we did at Pukaca earlier on this season, no yellow flags. So these drivers are basically running the scheduled 18 laps. Or actually, I believe it's is it 18? I think it's 18 laps. I'll have to double check on that. But I'm pretty certain it's 18 laps. So they're going to have to run that as if there are going to be no cautions. They're going to have to figure out the fuel strategy that way. And it'll be interesting to see how many times we see them on pit road before this race is over. Now, not to say that the past 2 races on fuel strategy have not led to some interesting winners. Back in season 1, it was Ryan Butcher taking the checkered flag. That was back when he drove for Northeast Motorsports in the 24 car. And then last season, we saw Carson Gum go to victory lane, and talk about a driver who could really use a back-to-back win scenario here at Pensacola, because Carson Gum, yeah, he has the Daytona 500 victory this season, but he's also 39th in the points now after 14 races. So Carson Gum needs to get this season, the bad runs that he's had turned around, and he needs to do it sooner rather than later, because if he does not make it into the top 30 in points when the checkered flag waves at the season or the regular season finale, Carson Gum will not be battling for a championship. There are 3 other drivers that are down there as well in that scenario. We'll get to that in a moment. For now, let's go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
And the defending champion, Ryan Acosta, will line up on the pole position for this one. Will track position be a key factor? We'll have to wait and see. Because with a track that fuel strategy, pit strategy could come into play, maybe some of these guys you're seeing back here mid-pack, maybe towards the very rear of the field, could have something in their back pocket in terms of strategy to maybe get up there and sneak away a win in the closing stages. I hit the wrong key there. My apologies, didn't mean to go flying through the field like that. Alright, so let's give you your point standings coming into this race. William Brock, we already mentioned, is the points leader. He is 4 points over Benny Watson. Jack Mitchell, the Darlington winner, sits in 3rd. J Llamas, our winner from Fuel Motorsports Park, is 4th. J Millz currently sits in 5th. He's still looking for his first win on the season. Dylan Young, the only 2-time winner this season, is 6th. Levi McIntire, his win last week at Charlotte, moves him up to 7th. Zach Rogers currently sits in 8th. Patrick Smith currently 9th, the rookie points leader. And Cole Deaver, who is 6 points back from Smith in the rookie point standings, is currently 10th in the overall points. We've also got some other names that are up there towards the top 10 in the standings that are having pretty good years, including rookie Austin Kolano in 11th, our Texas winner Ryan Brommer 12th, Matt Haas currently sits 13th, Carter Friesen, our Atlanta winner, 14th, and Michael Norman, who starts on the outside of the front row, currently sits 15th in the point standings, but he's still looking for his first win on the season. And pole sitter Ryan Acosta, not doing too bad himself. He is 16th in the standings, but again, in order to get into the playoffs, you've got to win, because we've currently got 14 races under our belt, 13 different race winners, and we've still got 12 races, including today's event, to go. No doubt we're going to have more than 3 more winners here this season. So it's going to be a lot of drivers that have wins that are probably not going to make the playoffs. Now, we mentioned R Brommer in 12th, Carter Friesen 14th. If we go down to find the rest of our previous race winners, James Qualls currently is 19th in points, and he's rolling off, I think, from dead last. N Hudson currently 21st in the stands, and then is where it gets interesting. Charles Sandfer still holding down 30th in the point standings. Had a semi-decent run of 15th last week at Charlotte, but did not get away from 30th in the standings. And then drivers that are below that 30th in standings cut line. N Ormond right now 33rd, Jacob Thibodeaux in 37th, and I think he's rolling off from 39th today. And Carson Gum, as we mentioned, the defending winner of this race, dropped 2 spots in the standings last week. He is now 39th coming into this race. Matter of fact, kind of interesting. I look here, 38th, 39th, 40th, all backmarker motorsports drivers, Belding, Gum, and Baker. The only one that's up inside the top 30 in points is V Almariego, and he's 25th in the standings. He's actually rolling off 4th for today's event. So it is indeed 18 laps of racing here today. So calculate about 5.3 miles. You're looking somewhere around maybe almost 100 miles. Somewhere between 90 to 100 miles. So it's going to be a long ways for these drivers to go. It'll be interesting to see under green flag conditions, since we have no yellows today, just how far these drivers can stretch it. Last winner at a road course was James Qualls back at Pukekohe, but he's going to have to do it from the 40th position here today. And for a lot of these drivers up here towards the front, like Acosta, like Norman, Benny Watson up here, if they were to go to victory lane, K Mathews back there I see as well, could solidify themselves a playoff spot. As far as those 4 drivers, Sandfer, Ormond, Thibodeaux, and Gum, I see 2 of them starting up near the front. Ormond starting from the 8th position. Charles Sandfer looks like he's starting from about the 16th spot. So we'll see if they're going to be able to work their way up here to the front. Couple of trouble spots that we should keep an eye on during the course of today's race. One of them is the very first corner, the road course section beginning. It's a hard left-hander, and we're going to see these drivers trying to take that corner 3 wide, 4 wide. I think we even saw a 5 wide situation last year. And of course, there will be no yellows, so if any incident breaks out, then we will break in with the NNSCRA split cam to try and find out what happened to drivers during the course of this race. We may not get to it right away, but we will try and document all the incidents that take place during the course of this event. Pensacola road course, it's actually kind of a roval, really, because you can see they are on the super speedway section here through what would be turns 3 and 4. So that also could play a factor in the closing stages. Drivers trying to use the draft to make passes late in this race. R Acosta, Michael Norman will lead them down. 18 laps of racing here today at the Pensacola road course. Race number 15 is green. Let's roll. Super Speedway section goes from turn 3 over to the exit of turn 1. So it's a long Super Speedway section here as Michael Norman around the outside is going to take the lead from R Acosta. And this could be the most treacherous corner on the most treacherous lap here today. Lap 1, when everybody's all bunched up. Let's see if they can make it through without killing each other. It's a matter of everybody trying to outbrake the other. You don't want to overrun the corner, and somebody did. A Garcia did. R Brommer, we got one car upside down. That's Charles Sandfer. He gets put back up on his wheels as A Garcia just hit the tire barrier. And that is not going to be good for the 12 car. One of 2 drivers coming into this race that has not yet won a Duracell Cup Series event after starting every single race. Zach Rogers, after all that, emerges with the race lead. I saw J Gardner with some damage there as well on the 14 car. It looked like he may not have even gotten over to that first corner, unless he got hit from behind. So he's lost a lot of spots. Keith Batson back here has got some damage now. There's Sandfer still running. even though that car was up on its right side. Move back up to the front, though. Zach Rogers now in control. Michael Normand dropped back to second. Phil Parker moved up to third, and the pole sitter Ryan Acosta now finds himself back in the fourth position. Then S3 Motorsports teammates in fifth and sixth. Cole Deaver in the 08 and Kyle Mathews in the 09. Rogers already a winner this season, taking the checkers back at the dirt track, the Springfield Mile. We've actually got the previous two Springfield Mile winners, 1 and 2. Rogers won it this year and Norman won it last year. Best battle right now is for that third position, and it's going to get tighter now as they head out of the road course section and back onto the super speedway section. That's Parker, Acosta, Deaver, and Mathews, third back to what would be sixth. And these are the CTS physics as well, so we're going to see the draft come into play here on the super speedway section of drivers being able to suck right up to the back bumper of the car in front of them if they're within striking distance. Look at this. There's an example. Michael Normand gets a good run on Zach Rogers. He's going to go for the lead. Phil Parker's got momentum. Where does he take that? Is he going to go 3 wide? No, instead he kind of backs off and helps push Michael Normand to the top spot. Here comes Ryan Acosta and Cole Deaver, a couple of orange cars in a drafting duo together. They're trying to get up here past these guys as Parker now goes for the race lead. Top 6 have kind of broken away. Then you got 7th place back there. Cole Baker, Benny Watson, Vince Almariego trying to settle that out. As double wide, almost 3 wide. And look at Cole Deaver with a move. He's going to go to the race lead with a great shot there into turn 2. Almost some contact there between himself and Ryan Acosta. You don't want to overstep the cushion here. You can see the rumble strips there. Just how high off the ground they are. If you go over them, the car's actually going to go airborne. They are that high. Deaver and Acosta trying to battle it out amongst each other. Looks like Ryan Acosta will clear and take the top spot. Let's drop back, see if anybody else has had any issues. There's Charles Sandfer. He's just now leaving pit road. I believe he's still on the lead lap, so that's the good news for him. The bad news is there's no caution to allow him to bunch back up, but at least he's still in this race. Charles Belding also made a pit stop along with the 81 of Austin Kolano, so a couple of rookies had to come to pit lane. And I believe that was unscheduled stops for them. Looks like J Gardner stayed out. Got some damage there on the front and left side of M Saatchi and a little bit of hood damage on M Macklin. I don't know if that was from this lap or the previous lap. J Shelton's also got a little bit of rear end damage on her Chevrolet. James Qualls, as I mentioned, started this race from the 40th position. He's now up to 33rd, continuing to try and work his way forward. Little rear end damage on Carson Gum, some damage on Levi McIntyre, last week's winner. LaPlante's got some damage, so too does Matt Haas. But the good news, there's a good news and there's a bad news for these guys. The good news is some of the hits that they may have taken here, the damage they sustained, might have been from drivers kind of backing each other up, trying to go into that first corner heading into the road course section. The bad news is when they come to pit road, they're going to have to spend a little extra time getting that damage repaired, and that could translate into losing spots on the racetrack. Phil Parker, the rookie, now out in front. He'll get a lap led. But they're going to be lined up behind him pretty well there with Acosta, Rogers, and Norman. And now those three are going to go 3 wide in a battle for second. That's going to bring Kyle Mathews, Cole Deaver, Benny Watson, Cole Baker, all those guys up here into this battle now. And then they'll have to take it into the road course section. Points leader William Brock up here as well there in the 88. So you got your top 2 in the overall point standings battling here in close proximity to each other. Brock 4 points over Benny Watson coming into this race, and right now they are running in, I believe, the 8th and 9th positions. Big gap. You got here Nathan Ormond and Jesse Turner there in 12th and 13th, and then you got a long gap before you get back to Patrick Smith, Cody Llamas, a former winner at this track, and Ryan Butcher. He ended up taking the checkers here back in season 1. He's back in around the 17th position. Jack Mitchell, so something apparently, I don't know if it was necessarily the incident we saw on the very first lap that split this field up or not, but A lot of those guys now quite a ways back and may have to rely on pit strategy to gain all that track position back. Zach Rogers back to the lead against Phil Parker, rather. Michael Norman now battling for second. Let's look back towards the rear of the field, see if anybody else has run into issues, and doesn't look like it. Now Matt Haas is off the pace again. I don't know if he was on pit road that last lap, perhaps. Try and get some damage repaired. Our Michigan winner Nathan Hudson's back here now as well. I don't know if he made a scheduled stop or not in that Allegiant Air Chevrolet. And right now the only car still sitting on pit road is Adam Garcia. Don't know if they'll get that car back out there or not. He's already fallen at least 2 laps down to the leaders. And we've got a car out of the race already, and that's Dylan Young. Something happened to our 2-time winner. You guys have probably already seen it on the split cam. This is live for me, so I'm not able to cycle through and see what you guys have seen. Dylan Young, who came into this race 6th in the standings. 2 wins in the first half of the regular season. The first one at Manassas, the second one at Pikes Peak. Certainly looking like he's going to make his way into the playoffs, but not the way that he wanted to start off the second half of the regular season for sure. As Michael Norman goes to the lead, here comes K Mathews. He's now cracked the top 5. He's now cracked the top 3. He's going to go into 3rd place. And has he got thoughts about the lead here? I thought he might try and make a move to the inside of Phil Parker, and oh, he does! He almost ran into the back of Phil Parker. Phil had to lift there going into that corner. And fortunately for K Mathews, he was just far enough left that he didn't run into the back of the 74. We got about, 11 cars up in this lead pack. Jesse Turner, the last of those. Nathan Ormond lost touch with that group. He was with that front pack, but now he's by himself in 12th. Now we got a good battle back here for 13th on back. You got about 7-8 race cars in this group. Cody Llamas leading this. Teammates Ryan Butcher and Patrick Smith in this group, along with Ryan Brommer, Jordan Lopez, Jack Mitchell, and Levi McIntyre. You can see there the damage on the back of the 9 and the 99. So they're still running. That rear end damage has not affected them really speed-wise. That kind of damage when you're at a road course, it's more about technicality than it is speed. The only place where it really would hurt these guys would be the super speedway section. So they're not losing track position right now. They're still staying up to speed with this group. The bad news, like I said, though, is when they hit pit road, they're going to have to spend a little extra time fixing those cars. And that's what's going to translate into some issues of losing not only track position, but positions in the running order as well. Fortunately for both Brommer and McIntyre, they both are currently up inside the top 15 in points, and both of them have wins. Brommer at Texas and McIntyre last week at Charlotte. I want to go back. We know that Ryan Butcher's running up there inside the top 15, but what about another former winner here at Pensacola, the defending winner, Carson Gum? There he is. Right now, he's in the 28th position, and remember, his situation coming into this race is pretty bad. He is 39th in points, our Daytona 500 winner. Looks like he's got a little bit of rear end damage there, but he has not really made a lot of ground in working his way to the front. And we kind of looked at this track as one that maybe Carson Gum could use to bounce back, use as a springboard, but nope, that's not the case. As Jessica Shelton's going to bring the Boxy Chevrolet to pit lane. She's already got some damage. I don't know if this is a regularly scheduled stop or if this is to get the damage repaired on that machine. A couple of other cars on pit road too. Levi McIntire, M Saatchi pitting as well. These drivers have all sustained damage in some way, shape, or form. T Wright is also in the 28 car. And I believe that's Austin LaPlante in the 48, also hitting pit road. These actually could be scheduled stops for these drivers. And if these are scheduled stops, then we're starting to get a little bit of an idea of just how far these guys can go. And we might have had a wreck back here. We did. I saw a lot of drivers kind of missing from the front that were up there before. Cole Baker, William Brock, and Michael Norman have all got damage now on their machines. So something happened up at the front of the field. V Almariego also's got some damage, and that's actually brought Cody Llamas up into this group. Cody was leading the second group, and now, because of all that issue that took place there, that first group has now been reeled in by the second group. That's also allowed Zach Rogers, Ryan Acosta, and Jesse Turner to all pull away in first, second, and third by a pretty good margin. So now it's really a three-man fight at the front of the field for the moment. A Dodge, a Toyota, and a Ford. And then moving into fourth place after all that is Nathan Ormond. Remember, he was 12th last time by. So it'll be interesting to see on the split cam what happened to Norman, Baker, and Brock. Another driver that's missing from that group as well is the 75 of Benny Watson. There he is. He was collected up in it as well because he's got a little bit of a buckle. What's a buckle? A buckle on the hood. I thought of the word hood and buckle at the same time and got the double O from hood into buckle and hence buckle. But he's got a buckle there on the hood of hers Toyota Camry. Jordan Lopez making a pass around Vince Almariego, who might be headed for pit road this lap. That car obviously very greatly affected with the front end damage. Not creating the speed necessary at a super speedway. And we got a lot of takers to pit road this time. So looks like they're all going about 6 laps on 1 tank of fuel. Turner is in, so too is Acosta, and so is Rogers. So, wow, if they can only make it 6 laps, or nearly 6 laps, this is going to make it very interesting because it's 18 laps scheduled. And Michael Norman and Cole Baker are out of the race. We see it right there. They have both taken their cars behind the wall. So, man, both drivers were en route to a good finish. We're both running up inside the top 10, and just like that, it's gone. But with the way that it's currently looking, these drivers could be running out of fuel on the final lap of this race, if indeed 6 laps is as far as they can go. Now, one driver did stay out a little bit longer, and that's William Brock, but he does have damage on both the left side and on the hood, on the front. So he'd have to stay on pit road a little bit longer, but even if that's the case, if he can go 1 lap extra, then that would project him maybe 1 lap to the good on fuel to make it on 1 more pit stop. So could William Brock, the points leader, be pulling out all the stops here in an attempt to get his first win on the season? Zach Rogers had a longer pit stop. He's now dropped back to 3rd. This is the battle potentially for the lead after the 88 comes to pit road. Ryan Acosta and Jesse Turner. Now, Ryan Acosta, his last and only win was at Martinsville, the defending champ. However, Jesse Turner's last win was at a road course. He won at the Glen. And he almost won at the Charlotte Roval back in Season 1 before getting wrecked by Dylan Poteet. So Jesse Turner definitely knows how to get around the road courses. And for both Turner and Acosta, they're both trying to make their way into the playoffs for the 2nd straight year. Neither one have won a race yet this season. Ryan comes into this race 16th in points, Jesse Turner 27th. Both had decent outings last week at Charlotte. Ryan picked up 3 spots in the standings. Jesse Turner picked up 2 after the Charlotte race. And I believe we're going to have the 88 on pit road this time. Yes, we will. So he will lose the lead. The question is, though, will he have a fast enough car to be able to get around Ryan Acosta, Jesse Turner, if they come to pit road on the last lap of this event? You can see he's got a lot of damage. They're going to try and repair that car. And Ryan Acosta gapped himself back from Jesse Turner, no doubt about that. I think Brock's pit stall was after the start-finish line. Yeah, it was. So we can't really do an official full field rundown. I'm going to have to try and do the best I can to figure out who is running where. So Ryan Acosta just took the lead back. Second's Jesse Turner. Zach Rogers runs 3rd. This is the battle for 4th. And it actually is between these 3. Cole Deaver's going to take it. Moving to 5th is J Lopes. Dropping back to 6th will be N Hudson, who, remember, made an unscheduled stop, so he's off sequence. 7th place is J Llamas. 8th is Phil Parker. N Ormond currently in 9th. And completing your top 10 now, first time today he's up inside the top 10, is K Friesen. 11th place is Benny Watson. 12th is James Qualls, who started this race from dead last. So a great job by James Qualls to patiently work his way through the field. 13th place under contest, it's going to be M Haas taking it. 14th will be R Brommer. 15th, A Kolano. 16th, J Millz, rather. 17th will be Patrick Smith. 18th, T Wright. And then you got a big battle here, 19th, 20th, and 21st with LaPlante, Shelton, and Matthew Rodriguez. 22nd would be Jack Mitchell. 23rd, Ryan Butcher. 24th, Levi McIntire. 25th, M Saatchi. 26th, K Batson. 27th, Jacob Thibodeaux. 28th is Aaron Macklin. 29th, J Gardner. And right now back in 30th would be William Brock, who gave up the lead to come to pit road. 31st is Mitchell Collins. 32nd, V Almariego. 33rd would be Carson Gum. 34th place is Charles Sandfer, who I believe was just on pit road again, and I believe he is the last car that is running. K Mathews on pit road in the 09. Adam Garcia still sits on pit lane in the 12. And there's Charles Belding crossing the line right now in the 35th position. Out of the race at this point are the cars of Michael Norman, Cole Baker, and Dylan Young. Only 3 drivers have retired out of the event so far. We are nearing the halfway point in a couple of laps. Right now it is a 2-horse fight at the front of the field. The defending champion versus the guy that has made the playoffs in back-to-back seasons and would love to make it 3 years in a row, Jesse Turner. And Turner's going to get a big run here on the Super Speedway section and close the gap up between himself and Acosta for the race lead. Let's see what the gap is back to Zach Rogers in 3rd. Just a little under 4.5 seconds. Best battle on track besides the battle for the lead. We'll actually follow this battle for the lead down here into the left-hander, and then we'll drop back because there's a good battle going on between J Lopes and Cole Deaver for 4th place. Those two crossed the line for 100th separation that last time by. Oh, Ryan got a little wide there, and that opened the door. Jesse Turner going to stick his nose in. Can he clear him before they get into the left hand? No, they're going to be side by side with each other through the S's. Who's going to win out on this? Looks like Ryan may have the advantage. Turner swings wide. Will he cut it down in a crossover? No, he will not. He instead will ride back in the tire tracks of the 10. So that battle is gone. Let's drop back to Lopes and Deaver. Those two are going to battle it out with each other still. Lopes going to clear for the moment. Deaver, let's see if he's got anything for him here before they get to the Super Speedway section. As those two battled, that actually allowed J Llamas to start closing in a little bit, the 6th place car. There is Llamas. About maybe 10, 11 car lengths back behind that 4th place battle and not too far behind him. Good run for a couple of rookies. Phil Parker there in 6th. N Ormond in 7th. And I believe that the 24 of N Hudson was just on pit road for a regularly scheduled stop. He is also off the pit sequence, which means the 24 car can make it the rest of the way on one more pit stop now. So that moved K Friesen up into the 9th position and now puts Benny Watson in 10th. So we talked about the fact that, William Brock, if everything works out for him, he could maybe make it the rest of the way on just one more pit stop and maybe steal this win away. If it doesn't work out for him, though, if they are where they're running is where they're going to be finishing if Brock cannot make it, then right now Benny Watson looks poised to take the points lead back over heading into next week at Dover. He's got his hands full, though, with James Qualls, who just so impressive that he's been able to stay out of trouble, started dead last in this race, and has worked his way up in the top 15, currently in 12th place. And actually, I'm really impressed, too, with R Brommer, because he's got that rear end damage on the number 9. I thought that he was probably going to lose a lot of positions, but he's still up in the 13th spot after his pit stop. So they got that car repaired, put him back out there, and He's doing a pretty good job as M Haas from the 15th spot is going to make a pit stop. This is scheduled for the 8 car. Number of drivers who got damaged early on in this race had to come to pit road, get that damage repaired, and so they are off sequence. Charles Sandfer, Nathan Hudson, Charles Belding, M Haas are drivers that fit under that category. Let's see if anybody else is retired out of the race. A Garcia, he finally has retired in the 39th spot. I think he may have gotten out there and run a couple of laps before taking his car back behind the wall, because he's going to finish ahead of Dylan Young. And K Mathews sitting on pit road. Probably he'll be out of the race momentarily, I would think, as I don't think that the 09 has gotten back on track. How about this battle here, though? Side by side. R Acosta and Jesse Turner. And again, R Acosta gets the advantage, gets the benefit of the corner they go into being on that inside line, takes the lead back. So Jesse Turner's made a couple of charges. He just has not been able to set him up in the right corner. J Deaver right now, the highest running rookie on track. And the battle for the rookie points lead actually is starting to close back up again. It was looking like a runaway by Patrick Smith, but now J Deaver's closed it up by 6 points, and there are quite a number of rookies running between himself and the 77 right now. You got Ormond and Phil Parker back here, so that's at least 3 points he's made up on Patrick Smith. And there is Smith, currently now, I believe, in the 10th position. I believe he just got around Benny Watson for the spot. So 3 points gained, that would be about 7 points, or no, I'm sorry, 3 points separation between Deaver and Smith for the rookie points lead going into next week. Three-way battle now for the 6th position. J Llamas, Nathan Ormond, and Phil Parker. Llamas and Ormond have wins this season. Phil Parker still looking for his first win as a rookie. Former winner back in the yeah, if I can remember what that series was even called. I don't even remember what that series was. Wow. That's pretty bad. This is the Xfinity series that we ran last year alongside the Duracell Cup Series Season 2, and now the name escapes me. Ormond's going to clear for that spot, though, so move him up to the 6th position. Battle here for 4th, Jordan Lopez. The only Blue Oval Automotive car up here inside of the top 10. Trying to make it back-to-back weeks that a Blue Oval Automotive Ford goes to victory lane. Levi McIntire, of course, getting their first win last week at Charlotte. As Deaver's going to cross him over. And looks like he may take 4th place back. Now, see, that's exactly what Turner's got to do. They had a lap car to deal with. They just got around Charles Belding, the 35th place car. And Turner is all over the back bumper of R Acosta. Now, if my projections are correct, we're going to see these guys on pit road in the next 2 laps. And then it will be a question of whether they can make it the rest of the way or not. Turner's going to get around on the right side of R Acosta. Let's see if he can make anything work there. Nope, had to run that corner a little too wide. Had to get out of the throttle. Ryan's going to clear him again. Turner's in a good spot, though, as far as distance between himself and the 10. He might be able to get a good run in the super speedway section if he can maintain where he's at. Looks like he might have lost a little bit more ground there to Ryan. And remember, Acosta started this race from the pole. We're going to play a little game of cat and mouse, I think, through the road course portion. Butcher's going to clear for the spot. Millz now, will he ride, wait to be second coming off into the super speedway section, or will he try and charge back, try and be the race leader when they leave the road course section to throw a block on the 78? Ryan ran that corner a little wide. Millz cut it deep. Couldn't quite get to the right rear quarter panel. Now tries to cross over to the left side. Ryan Butcher trying to make his car as wide as possible. Millz now pulls driver's right. I think he's going to get Ryan Butcher here in this corner, perhaps. Butcher's got to take the long ways around. Is he still alongside the 98? No, he is not. They're nowhere close to traffic. Charles Belding too far ahead, so it's mano-y-mano. Millz and Butcher. Butcher, almost a little contact there as he might have gotten into the left rear quarter panel of the IK9 Ford Mustang. Here we go. Last couple corners of the road course section. We're going to get to the super speedway section, which may be the deciding factor of this race. Ryan Butcher in the tire tracks of J Millz. He's within striking distance. He's going to move to the inside. They'll be side by side coming out of the road course portion. Which lane's going to win? Oh, Butcher backed off. He let Millz get ahead. He might be planning a slingshot here on the super speedway section. Can he get there quickly enough is the question. Trying to close up the gap, trying to get there quickly enough so he'll be there before they get to the start-finish line. J Millz, Ryan Butcher, off the final corner. Butcher closes in. Is he going to have enough time? No, he will not. J Millz is going to win on fuel strategy at the Pensacola road course. Over 10 seconds before you get back to Ryan Acosta and Jesse Turner. There they are. They had a photo finish for third. Turner just edging out Acosta. And J Millz holds off Ryan Butcher. He'll pick up his first win of the season, continues to climb up in the rankings of most wins in Duracell Cup Series history. That is his 8th career win, I do believe. It might be his 9th, but I believe it's his 8th. And we are still waiting for everybody to cross the start-finish line. It's going to be a little while here for everybody to do that, as the field was all spread out. But what a fuel strategy call for J Millz and Ryan Butcher. The two of them stayed out. They're going to finish first and second, but Millz, who came into this race 5th in the point standings, third highest in the points without a win, might be headed back to the playoffs as he takes the checkered flag, and it's back-to-back races where a blue oval automotive Ford takes the checkered flag. McIntire last week at Charlotte, Millz this week at the Pensacola road course. As we wait for these drivers to make their way around here to complete their laps and make the standings official, we're going to step aside for just a moment and we'll be back with your full finishing results. The standings are now official, and it looks like J Millz may be out of fuel heading towards the super speedway section. So he was just about maybe 3/4 of a lap to the good on fuel, as was Ryan Butcher. Millz with the win. I just checked back. It is his 8th career win in the Duracell Cup Series, first on the season. He was a 4-time winner back in Season 1, 3-time winner in Season 2. And he continues to be the most winningest driver in the Duracell Cup Series. And as mentioned, coming into this race, 5th in the standings, may have just locked himself up another playoff position. Butcher will finish in 2nd. Jesse Turner brings it home in 3rd. So if Millz or Butcher could not have made it, it looks like Turner in a photo finish would have eventually been the winner, but he'll have to settle for a podium spot. Ryan Acosta brings it home in 4th after starting on the pole. Zach Rogers finishes 5th. N Ormond there in 6th, so he is the highest finishing rookie today. Jordan Lopez in 7th, Cody Lamas 8th, then rookies Phil Parker and Cole Deaver complete the top 10, then another rookie Patrick Smith 11th. 12th was Carter Friesen. N Hudson was off the pit sequence, but he was still able to hang on for 13th. Benny Watson will undoubtedly take the points lead back going into Dover next week. He'll finish 14th. And Matthew Rodriguez will finish in 15th. James Qualls, after starting this race from 40th, how about him finishing up inside the top 20 and 16th? Ryan Brommer, with all the rear end damage he had, still managed to finish in 17th. Keith Batson was 18th after he had early issues. Jack Mitchell, the strategy did not quite work out for him. He'll finish the day out in 19th, though, and Austin LaPlante is going to complete your top 20. You look on down through the remainder of the finishing results, and I see some names there that are popping out that, ooh, they kind of make me really nervous still. Jacob Thibodeaux, 26th. Charles Sanford, 27th. Carson Gum in 29th. Remember, these are guys that were either just inside or outside of the top 30 in the points. They needed good runs today, and they again did not get them. The only one that really got a good run today that needed it was Nathan Ormond, finishing up inside of the top 10. After all the incidents we had today, 36 cars still were running, 35 of them on the lead lap. K Mathews finished 2 laps down, and only 4 cars went behind the wall. Michael Norman, who started on the outside of the front row, Cole Baker, who was up inside the top 10 when his incident happened, and then Young Motorsports teammates Adam Garcia and 2-time winner Dylan Young. But that's going to do it here today for our race at the Pensacola road course. It was a fuel strategy race. Definitely glad we didn't have the cautions out, because otherwise I think we would have had quite a number of pacing laps. But J Millz on fuel strategy takes his first checkered flag on the season. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We've shown you full finish results, and these are what your point standings look like heading into next week as we go to the Concrete Mile Dover International Raceway. That one's going to be a wild one as well. You're not going to want to miss it. But until then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.